I love Petty CC. Hey, Caitlyn can't hide it, bro. She can't hide it, and I don't blame her. Yo, the GOAT, Caitlyn Clark, damn near crashed out at the Anacon, Scott Agness. hey, hey, Caitlyn was not rocking with Scott Agness. This is crazy. This dude showed up out of nowhere. And you know when you know somebody, you like, they pop up at the house party uninvited, like, who told you to pull up? Scott Agness showed up at the Annika like, hey, it's me, y'all. Oh my God. Caitlyn Clark nearly crashes out on reporter Scott Agness. We got to get into why. This dude has done a lot of nonsense. He was right about some stuff. I've given him credit about some of the things he was right about. But ultimately, Scott, you did some bullshit this year. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, hype the video. Let's keep working. So, Caitlyn Clark obviously shut down the Annika, record-breaking crowds, thousands of people lined up. And it was a beautiful, beautiful turnout. Now, we got to get into what happened between her and Scott Agness. You guys are all familiar with Scott Agness, reporter for The Fever, that reported a lot of nonsense. It was he said a lot of out-of-pocket things that we are going to get into. But Scott Agness showed up, popped up on Caitlyn Clark at the Annika on special assignment. He probably asked if he can go, hey, you guys want me to go down there? I volunteer to go down there and cover at the Annika. Like, yeah, you wasn't down there, no special assignment. They didn't assign you. You asked to go, knowing she didn't want to see you. Let's get into what Scott Agness did at the Annika, man. This was hilarious.
Agness of Fieldhouse Files. Hi again, everybody. I'm Scott Agness of FieldhouseFiles.com here on special assignment down in Bel Air, Florida for the second
here on special assignment. You wasn't no special assignment. You asked to go down there, brother.
Consecutive year as Caitlyn Clark, the Indiana Fever star guard, is playing in the Annika LPGA Pro-Am coming up Wednesday, set to tee off at about 8:30 in the morning. Golf Channel, they'll have some coverage from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., but I'll be here throughout, walking behind her for all.
Walking behind her. That's the last thing she wanted. Somebody get this dude. Security. Somebody get this dude the hell away from me. Man, this dude, Scott Agness, popped up at the Annika trying to work. You know, this dude had the nerve to ask Caitlyn Clark, try to ask questions in the post-golf event press conference or whatever, where they took questions from some people. You know, he got to slide his way in and try to ask Caitlyn Clark some questions. This how Caitlyn Clark looked at this dude. Oh, it's you again. Caitlyn, you can't escape this dude. You can't escape Scott Agness. He's going to follow you everywhere. He probably followed you to Chipotle after the damn event, try to get more footage and coverage. Caitlyn Clark was ready to crash out on Scott Agness. She put her head down. She put her head down like, oh, this dude again. Caitlyn Clark is sick and tired of Scott Agness, and for fair reason. Let's not make no mistake about it. Caitlyn Clark has every reason to be fed up with Scott Agness and all of his shenanigans. This is what Caitlyn also did when Scott Agness had the nerve to ask her questions. She ain't trying to deal with this dude. Let's take a look at this. This is what Caitlyn Clark did when Scott Agness asked her a question. She don't fuck with you, Scott. Y'all gonna have to send somebody else down there. Y'all want to get coverage, Fieldhouse, Indiana. Y'all want to get coverage of Caitlyn Clark. Y'all gonna have to send somebody else. Caitlyn Clark nearly crashes out on Scott Agness. She was ready to let this dude have it, y'all. Let's be clear. Why is Caitlin Clark over Scott Agness? Scott Agness is the same guy who blatantly disrespected and lied on Caitlin Clark and her fans. He said that Caitlin Clark was responsible for the toxicity on the internet, and that because of Caitlin Clark and her fans, people on the Indiana Fever can't have social media. Coaches can't have social media. No one around Caitlin Clark can have social media because of her fans. And they just make their lives a living hell, which was a lie, because Sophie Cunningham, who was Caitlin Clark's teammate, became bigger than ever on social media. In fact, Sophie Cunningham started the Show Me Something podcast while playing with Caitlin Clark. Lexi Hall was all over social media. Her social media got more popular than it ever was. Kelsey Mitchell was still on social media. Aaliyah Boston was still on social media. Oh, Aaliyah Boston launched a new podcast in the midst of the season while playing with Caitlin Clark. Who else? It was just a blatant lie. Who else was on social media? Sydney Colson was on social media. Oh, Sydney Colson was out doing comedy shows, going on IG Lives, starting a show of her own, all types of stuff. All these Indiana Fever players on social media doing what they do. And Scott Agness lied and made it seem like Caitlin Clark and her fans have made it so that her teammates can't have a social media. That was a bold-faced lie, and that's just one of the reasons that Caitlin Clark is fed up with this dude. That's one of the reasons she's fed up with this dude. And he knows he was wrong because he went on Rachel Demita's podcast. Shout out to you, Rachel Demita. He went on her show, Courtside Club, and apologize to the fans to the Caitlin Clark fans for what he said. He knows he was out of pocket. Yeah, Caitlin is not rocking with you. She's tired of you following her around at events. She don't want to see you. What T.I. say on ATL? I don't want to talk to you, skate with you, kick it with you, nothing, man. I don't want to do nothing with you, man. Caitlin Clark is fed up with Scott Agness. Not to mention all the miscommunication with him and Chloe Peterson about why she was out. Was it her groin? Was it her ankle? Turns out Scott was right. It was her ankle. But it just was a lot of fuzziness going on. And Caitlin Clark is at the point where she's fed up and don't want nothing to do with Scott Agness. So you might as well stop popping up at all these events, buddy. CC don't want to give you no coverage. You ask her a question. She looked at you so crazy. She had to literally grab her hat and put her head down to refrain from crashing out on you in front of all these people for the sake of her brand. Scott Agness, this was a bad look, my guy. Bad look. Nasty work. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think about this. This Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share.